Kia ora, good evening. Welcome to Central News for Friday the 23rd of May. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Tauranga City Council is set to re-evaluate plans for the Masonic Park renovation after the surprise discovery of one of the city's earliest buildings. City Council yesterday announced that archaeologists had found the remains of the Butts Brothers Bakery at the City Park, which dates back to the 1870s. Heritage New Zealand's Pohere Taonga were called in to investigate after contractors working on the renovation uncovered historic artefacts on May 9th. Further investigations found 2 ovens, a chimney and the foundation of the shop's cobbled floor. The bakery had a shop frontage on the Strand and was still operating in World War II. It sold baked goods, confectionery and bridal cakes. Directors of the Te Puke community resourced feature film, The Z Nail Gang, are excited to finally be able to give the public a glimpse of the movie with a public release of the trailer this weekend. The public are invited to attend the trailer premiere of The Z Nail Gang, which finished filming last month, at Pungakawa School Action Centre this Sunday. Directed and produced by Pukehina husband and wife team Anton Steele and Kylie Dalbarker Steele, the film is based on true events around anti-mining protesters in the Coromandel in the 1980s. Filmed in the Western Bay earlier this year with hundreds of Te Puke residents helping to create the movie, it premieres at Pungakawa School Action Centre this Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Waikato Regional Council is in a sound financial position thanks to prudent budget management, ongoing cost control and a high-performing investment fund. At this month's Finance Committee meeting, councillors heard the council continued to perform well financially and was on track to return a surplus this financial year. Committee Chairperson Jane Henbury welcomed the involvement of the new Audit and Risk Committee set up to ensure the Council is managing risk appropriately and to provide an assessment of financial performance and management controls of the organisation. The subcommittee, which met for the first time in March, is chaired by Auckland accountant Hamish Stevens, one of 2 external appointees. Drivers need to take greater responsibility for the roadworthiness of their vehicle now more than ever, the Motor Trade Association says. A number of road crashes in recent months have involved vehicles deemed not roadworthy or lacking current warranty fitness. In some cases, these crash vehicles have not been checked for basic safety equipment in years. From July, about 1.2 million cars previously subject to a 6-monthly warranty fitness inspection now have an annual inspection schedule. With this, the onus falls squarely on owners and drivers to regularly check their vehicles. Some already 14 years old are safe to be on the road. Now for our region's marine forecast for the weekend. Saturday, west coast, southwest 20 knots, becoming northwest 25 knots. In the morning, sea becoming rough, southwest swell 2 metres and the northwest swell 2 metres developing later on. High tide in Raglan is at 6:48 p.m. East Coast Bay of Plenty, northwest rising to 25 knots, gusting 35 knots in the morning and to 30 knots, gusting 40 knots in the evening. Sea becoming rough in the morning, fair visibility in rain or drizzle late evening. High tide is 15:24. Sunday, west coast, northwest 30 knots, rising late. Sunday, westerly 40 knots with very rough seas, easing early on Monday. High tide on Sunday in Raglan is 7:09 a.m. East Coast Bay of Plenty, changing westerly 15 knots, rising to 20 knots late. Rain clearing, then fine. High tide in Tauranga is 16:24. Just ahead, authentic hip hop. Welcome to Central News. Next weekend, some of the country's best hip-hop dancers will show off their moves in Tauranga for Project, the National Youth Hip-Hop Dance Competition.
Project is an entry-level competition, so it's an opportunity for young people to take the stage, most for the first time, and to give hip-hop dancing a go in a competitive sense.
And Mania, why are you entering?
Well, we're entering because it gives us an opportunity to choreograph our own set to compete against other crews from around New Zealand that we would usually compete against in a bigger level than what we are, but it's still kind of nice for us to kind of show them what we have in ourselves.
There are 2 divisions, so when will they be showcasing their talents and what are they?
Sure, so on Saturday the 31st of June we have the schools divisions. Now these are the kids that we go into schools and work with. They've never danced before, they get the opportunity to take the stage for the first time and it's really exciting. The high school kids are cool because they get to work on their own choreography and they get to showcase their own work and they're really talented. On the Sunday we move into the open divisions, so that's where more crews come from studios or from larger companies across New Zealand and they're battling it out for prize money. So that's on Sunday the 1st of June and yeah, first prize for each division is $1,000, so bring it on.
Is it just for Bay of Plenty people or can people come from all over New Zealand?
Yeah, this year, we opened it up last year actually to New Zealand and it's proved really popular, so this year we opened it up again and yeah, we've extremely boosted our numbers from 16, 17 crews to 42, so we're really excited.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, but it's good. It's a good problem to have, yeah.
And the head judge is quite an experienced dancer, I understand.
Yeah, Richie's been around in the scene forever and he's been with us, well, with me since day one. And with TMC, they've been to Worlds. He has also danced in Identity Dance Crew, which got a silver medal at Worlds last year, and they're going back this year to take it out again, hopefully, and bring back the gold. So he's a very experienced judge.
Are there any rules and regulations that the dancers have to abide by?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're trying to stay authentic and we're trying to teach kids about the foundations of hip hop and where it all began. So we're really trying to get kids to include authentic street dance styles and to really look at incorporating the entire crew rather than just having one person and their backup dancers.
So what are some of those more authentic moves?
So it's looking at dances that have come from, you know, the streets of New York and Los Angeles. We're looking at the traditional styles of popping, locking, breaking, whacking, voguing, moving into the more current styles of crumping and new school choreography.
The competition is being held on Saturday the 31st of May and Sunday the 1st of June at the Bethlehem College Performing Arts Centre. You can visit urbandance.org.nz to find out more. There has been a lot of talk recently on the affordability of housing, mostly in Auckland, but there is a different issue altogether in Tauranga. Whether we have enough of the right kind of housing. There is a shortage of age-friendly and 1 to 2 bedroom houses in the city. I spoke with Chris Johnston of the Tauranga Community Housing Trust.
We formed in 2003. We came out of CCS Disability Action, or it was called CCS in those days, and the drivers were the concern that people had about the lack of options for disabled people and their families. People were really concerned that people had very few options, that there was affordability was an issue, lack of accessible properties was an issue, and in those days also that housing was stitched up all together with support. So the support provider was often the landlord and often sometimes the provider of their day service, etc., etc. And individuals and families at the time thought it was more appropriate that people had more say in where they lived and more options available to them.
Why was there a need to broaden it to look at people on lower incomes?
In 2009, we made the decision for a number of reasons, really. We were seeing more and more, not only people on low incomes, but middle incomes needing to find access to affordable, suitable housing. And the other reason is we recognised that to be a sustainable community housing provider, we had to be of a certain size. So, you know, the decision, there were multiple reasons, but they were the 2 main ones. So now we have 2 main streams of focus. One is that of a housing provider, and we have some of our own housing. The other main activity is what we call a housing facilitation service, and that's whereby we work with individuals and families to secure housing that meets their specific needs. So, for example, someone might be referred from the hospital and they need accessible housing, and if we don't have that housing in our own stock, then we'll work with that person to find a suitable solution for them, be it in the private rental market, through Housing New Zealand, and or through another social housing provider. As part of that work, we also look at what their support needs are, the supports they require to sustain their housing, be it income support or household help or perhaps personal cares, whatever that person requires, and we work with the relevant agencies to ensure that those supports are all in place before the person takes up the tenancy. So yeah, we do a lot of the preliminary work before they're housed in terms of confirming their housing, getting everything set up, and then once they're housed we step back and have a low-key sort of monitoring role and point of contact for the landlord if it's required.
Coming up next, Highway 48, the original musical from Hamilton. Welcome back. Hamilton writer and musician Chris Williams has spent the past 5 years working on his first musical, and in July he will see it laid bare on stage in front of friends, family and strangers as it premieres in Hamilton at the Clarence Street Theatre. Anne-Marie spoke with Chris Williams to find out what the musical State Highway 48 is all about.
Right, it's a musical that is based on the journey of middle age, is the kind of way I would describe it. And it is a story told through the eyes of a family, the young kids, workmates, friends, colleagues, etc. And some of the trials and tribulations they have at a period of time in their lives. There's a lot of themes that come through. It's set against the backdrop of the recession, so there's some job loss, depression, communication problems, marriage breakdown, all these kind of things. There's a lot of humour, a lot of laughs, very few tears, to be fair. And it's a kind of like, I would put it, it's a reminder, a few reminders to us about the importance of communication, the family unit, love in your life, and also I think it's about trying to remind us that the people that we think might be the most on top of things are often the ones that are struggling the most, and that's a real kind of common theme that comes through it. So it's told through 22 songs, the whole thing is sung. And it's pretty epic.
How did the musical come about?
As I was saying, I never set out to write a musical. It was never a thing I thought I was going to do. But as a creative person who I write songs, I've always got songs on the go at various stages. One night I was just kind of wheedling away on the piano, and I developed a riff that I kind of quite liked. I thought it was kind of more of a TV show or something. Then I thought, no, it feels like more of a theme for a musical. So there and then I decided I'd write a musical. And then I told everyone I was writing it. And then everyone started to ask me how I was going. So I thought, well, I better get on with it. And so now here we are.
Where did you find your inspiration for the characters and the storyline?
Right, well, I think when you get to my age, because this being a commentary on life at middle age, I'm kind of, in the thick of it, I suppose. So you come across lots of people and you have a lot of experiences yourself that you're able to portray and express in a certain way. So there's no one single inspiration, just a lot of the people and work, friends and so on that I've run across over the years.
Who's helped you along the way?
There's been so many people. There are, friends, workmates and so on who have kind of encouraged me and basically unwittingly shared with me their stories and so on, and enabled me to observe a lot of what they're up to. So that's kind of been a real help. But one of the big things that happened was that a very good friend of mine up in Auckland, who in fact died last October, and he and I, traded notes on what we're up to. He was going to write a book, and I was doing my musical. And I always going to say to him, you need to write your book. You need to write your book. He was saying forever that he was going to do it, but anyway, he ended up not doing it because he died. And so he was a big part of kind of this getting to this stage.
Tell me about the cast. You've got some very accomplished performers.
Right, so we've got Brian Beveridge, who's an absolute star, Kirsten Hickman, who's just a beautiful singer. She can sing like an angel. They're the two lead characters. And then with the remaining cast are all really experienced professionals as well. So that's just been fantastic for them to come along and kind of take part in it. They're all really passionate about it, and that's been one of the great things for me, is for these guys to come along and say, well, we're going to check this out, do an audition, and now they're all sort of saying, we're loving this, and we're really grateful to be part of it. So it's fairly humbling, to be honest.
It's been said that everyone has a story inside them waiting to be written down. Is this your story?
Yes and no. I mean, there are things in there that I haven't been through, but things in there that I have. And I think you get to this age and you just can't avoid some of those things, if you know what I mean. So it partly is, but partly it's also just, observation of, people and places and so on.
Who will relate to the musical?
Well, I think it's a definite kind of baby boomer audience, but really, I suppose baby boomers are getting a bit older now, so kind of 40 plus, 35, 40 plus. But really, my audience is everyone. It doesn't exclude anyone. I think everyone should enjoy it, but certainly people, who've gone over the 40 hill will definitely relate to, a good part of it, I would think.
You're at the Clarence Street Theatre in Hamilton from the 10th to the 12th of July, and then plans to go nationwide.
Yes, so we're doing those, there's 4 performances over those 3 days, and really this is a launch, I suppose, and it is also kind of a pilot. I'll be getting feedback from some people, just to make sure that, the story's being told well and all those kind of things, and then I'll iron out any creases from there, and then I aim to kind of take it to Auckland and Wellington and then overseas is my aim. We're not stopping here.
What's been a highlight so far?
There've been a number, to be honest. Writing, when I wrote it, writing in curtain closes was a highlight. I nearly cried because it was blood, sweat and tears on every word. The auditions were fantastic. That was so exciting, seeing people coming in and singing my songs. And then the other night, Brian and Kirsten sang one of the duets that we've got in the show. And that was when I just started to think, this feels really real now. And hearing those 2 professionals sing it was just incredible. So that's so far. There's been many others as well.
Just ahead, the fight to keep the Tauranga Mobile Library. Welcome back. A hot topic in Tauranga Council chambers has been the decision to move ahead with funding the extension of the Greeton Library, but there is a twist. Tauranga City Council has decided to cut funding for the mobile library. I spoke with Kate Meads from Friends of the Tauranga City Libraries about the fight on their hands.
Yes, we are fighting to keep the mobile library that serves so much of our community so well. It costs $125,000 a year to run, and it serves 22,000 people in the population per year, and they take out at least 50,000 books from it. It does a fantastic service and it keeps these people engaged with the community.
This isn't the first time that you've had this fight, is it though?
No, it's not. In June last year, we actually won a 2.5 battle to keep it. The council actually signed off on a library level of service policy that guaranteed the mobile library. They were able to employ staff, another staff member who was guaranteed a job. They've been running long hours, the staff, because they were staff members down. And that was a very, very important moment. It guaranteed the library and the work it did. And everyone was very relieved to know that the council fully understood the benefits of this library.
How long was that guarantee for?
That library level of service policy was in place until it was changed, and at the time Friends of the Libraries and the community said that was the minimum level of service we would go for. There was no time limit set in place. So it is very, very strange for a council to be altering it within 6 months of it being put in place.
What does the mobile library actually do?
The mobile library actually goes to many, many stops around the city. It goes to several low decile schools, and every school child in those schools gets 2 library books out every 2 weeks. This is free reading for them. It's their own choice on any subject they want. It goes to some rest homes, it goes to many community stops, and it takes the library to people who can't get to the library, people who are physically active but cannot, for reasons of disability or financial reasons, make it into branch libraries. It also covers the areas in Welcome Bay and Bethlehem whose libraries are not going to be built now until after 2022.
Why do you think it's such an important part of the community to Tauranga that it needs to stay?
As I said, it goes to people who can't make it into branch libraries or the town library. It keeps them in communication with the rest of the city. It gives them somewhere to go. It makes them keep in touch with what's happening. It forms part of the community. They form friendships with the librarians, they form friendships with each other. That's somewhere to go. With the children, it has proven to increase literacy tremendously. For some of the children, they would never see a library otherwise. And when they go off to varsity in that, if they hadn't had that experience, the impact of using a varsity library would be terrible for them. And this is so fantastic that we've got this service that they can actually go and use it for $125,000 per year. If they built Bethlehem and Welcome Bay libraries, they would be paying $180,000 in depreciation per year for those buildings. So $125,000 to run a mobile library is chicken feed.
The annual plan is expected to be released by the start of July. Now for the weather for our regions for the weekend. Hamilton, your Saturday will start off with drizzle turning to rain with a strong northwesterly. Your expected high is 20 and an overnight low of 12. For the rest of the Waikato, it is drizzle turning to rain, heavy in the evening. There's a strong gusty northwesterly there too. Paeroa 20 and 10, Matamata 18 and 12, Te Awamutu 20 and 12, Tokoroa 17 and 11. And across the Kaimais to the Bay of Plenty, Tauranga, your Saturday will be cloudy with a chance of drizzle and a strong northwesterly for you too. Your expected high is 20 and an overnight low of 14. Te Puke, cloudy with drizzly patches but rain at night. Northwesterlies becoming strong and gusty again, 18 and 14. Hamilton, a few showers with westerlies for your Sunday with 18 and 8. Rest of the Waikato, it's rain easing to a few showers by dawn with westerlies. Showers becoming frequent at night with westerlies freshening. Paeroa 19 and 4, Matamata 17 and 4, Te Awamutu 18 and 8, Tokoroa 15 and 7. Bay of Plenty Sunday now. Tauranga, the rain clears early to become a fine day with westerlies. An expected high of 19 and an overnight low of 9. Te Puke, rain clearing during the morning, followed by sunny spells, westerlies as well. You've got 17 and 10 your expected temperatures there. That is us for today and this week. We love your feedback, so you can get in touch with us by our Facebook page or email us at news@tvcentral.co.nz. Also let us know if you have something interesting coming up in your community or you think there is an issue that needs to be addressed. Annie and I will be back again next week bringing you more stories from the Waikato and the Bay of Plenty. I'm Hilary Entwistle. I hope you have a lovely evening and a fantastic weekend.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.